for the school bond to pass.
I think it's positively great. We've done lots of engagement. It's been neutral, positive, so I've done polling.
I didn't even know it was up for a bond until I got my.
Okay.
But that's
All right. Oh, I think we might be on.
No, I always vote for it, but I put the years so long.
No, that's honest.
Ready? Hey, let me get recording. It looks like we're live on Falls.
Recording in progress.
Okay.
All right, good. I'd like to call the meeting to order of the library board for the 23rd of October. Present here in the room are Cynthia Andrews, Bill Carton, Heidi Blackwell, staff Greg Williams, Barrett Miller, Blake Kincaid, and Sabrina Tusing. We have two excused absences, Lisa and Denise. Yeah, so both of whom are ill, unfortunately. So we're going to skip to allow the staff to make their presentation, and then they can get on with their lives. So I will. The topic is the 2024 summer reading program, and get a recap. And we've gotten some material in the mail, and I'll turn it over to Barrett. Yeah.
Sure. I will. I'm trying to think of the right metaphor for what I will do in this situation as a parent of a metaphor. It's not going to explain. So yeah, I will triage the report. So summer reading 2024. I'm going to pull up the copy on my screen.
Okay.
So
I successfully did this last. Oh, there.
All right. Okay. Perfect. All right. Next slide. Thank you, Greg. So this is the same format that we've used for the last couple of years. We tried to do a lot of visual graphics, make it break the data down into a little bit more understandable chunks. So this year, so we always start off by talking about any changes that we've had for the year. And for children and teens, there were no major changes to our program format. This year, we had a daily reading challenge for kids and a bingo for teens. The adults had changes.
We did offering online options here, which we had not done for multiple years. So the bean stack option, you'll see when we get to the numbers, was definitely a good choice.
And then youth services and adult services teamed up for our first ever end of summer reading party. So it was an all-ages activity on August 31st. We'll talk more about how that went and what worked and what we want to, what we learned as well. So next slide, please. Some challenges that we had this year for the youth program. There were a lot of staffing things that were difficult. I was right during the peak planning period for summer reading. I was out for surgery. I was supposed to be gone 2 weeks. It took 5 due to some minor complications. And we also hired a new librarian while I was, while I was out on surgical leave. So by the time I came back from being out for 5 weeks and kind of got caught up with my email, it was already May, and we were in, it was time to hit the ground running while I was also trying to onboard a staff member. And we had some really cool outreach ideas planned. The school district now has an early literacy grant coordinator for the district, and we had some really fantastic ideas about doing some really targeted outreach with the schools. And she had some things going on in her personal life where she was not able to, but we were supposed to connect while I was out on leave, and by the time I got back, she was not available to be partnering. And so because of all the staffing changes and things happening on both sides, we had some really cool outreach ideas that just didn't happen this year. And I think and so we kind of, when it came to promoting the program to schools, we had to scramble, very last minute pivot, and we weren't as successful as we would have. That's I think just our biggest challenge for kids. For teen, it was not a huge challenge. A change more than anything is that teen services, if you will, is actually under the umbrella of adult services now. And so just bringing those who work the reference desk upstairs and then adults and bring them up to speed with the teen summer reading, what that looks like, prizes, and just letting them know of all the ins and outs. Bean Stack, they got a little taste of it last year. It's more involved this year also because of it going online. So.
And for adults, the picture that I picked for my section is really just kind of a picture that over my head. Because doing paper and online, but having the drawings be fair to everyone who participated, so people weren't tempted to try and enter twice, pick either the online participation or the paper-based participation, meant that I had to choose between entering all the paper ones into the online thing behind the scenes or printing out all the online ones for paper. But I went with more hands-on approach because it was more fun to use our giant drawing drum. And next year we're thinking of maybe videoing those drawings because it is pretty cool to have this giant drum with little pieces of paper. So I had to print them all out off of Bean Stack, cut them all out and put them in the drum. But I knew that going in. And it was somewhat time consuming, but you'll see once again, when we get to the numbers, you'll see it's paid off significantly, so it was worth the extra.
Next slide. So looking at the budget, so for the children's program, almost all of our funding comes from the Ready to Read grant through the State Library of Oregon. We get close to, I think this year we may have actually gotten like 10 for 2020, summer reading fund, 2025, we may have actually gotten $10,000, but it's usually like the $10,000 range. So almost all of our funding comes from the Ready to Read grant. So we use that to purchase prize books, which we give away as registration prizes. We use it to purchase things for our prize drawings, to pay the performers for our family events, and then to do other things like creative kits and art lab supplies for in-house programs. And this year we had like a little library tree where kids could add a week to the tree when they unlocked the badge and Bean Stacks, or the families who wanted something to do every week when they came to the library that was not just an online thing. Yeah. So we use the funds to purchase things for passive programs like that. And then the library budget also pays for our Bean Stacks, or it has to pay for the cost. All of our funding came, 13 also came from the raised, the same thing. Prize books, prize drawings, the contents, all the goodies, snacks that I put in the book boxes. From that, I did not actually include the creative kits in that snapshot, but actually, I don't know that would. I don't think that would. Yeah. So, ready to read is tricky. It's that we get a set like per capita like dollar amount per child aged 0 to 14 in our library service area. So we are allowed to, so teen summer reading falls into kind of a gray area. If we're offering something that 13 and 14-year-olds can participate in, we can use funding for it, but we're not technically, we can't use it to fund all of our stuff for 15, 16, and 17-year-olds. So someday it would be amazing to, get that funding so that we can fund our full youth program, including all of the teen programs through that grant, but right now we don't have the funding. So we use and if you look at our numbers, like we have a large number of 13 and 14-year-olds who participate in programs and register for the challenge. So we use some of our buddies to pay for those books since they're able to pull them.
Then money for adults, other than donated books and books for coupons from the friends, that $4,000 number is all coming out of our adult programming budget, which represents about a third of what we spend on adult programs a year. And I'll say that's well spent money. It's it easily represents a third, roughly a third of our impact on the community. It's a very successful program. So the $4,000 I feel is very much spent. This year we moved money around a little bit so that our prize baskets could be a little more appealing and have better items in them than in previous years. We spend less money on the book bags, but also we've been kind of repeating ourselves with book bags. People already have 2 identical book bags. So we have different ones this year with a water bottle. But we're still able to spend less money on bags, more money on baskets.
That's fine. So just an overview of the program, broken down by age. So for children's summer reading, we have kids set a daily goal, keep track of the number of days that they meet the goal, with bonus weekly activities. That allows us a lot of flexibility for different ages and different reading levels. When we used to do preset goals, there were some kids who couldn't meet those goals and just got really frustrated and upset. We have a couple recommended goals, and for like preschoolers and like babies and toddlers, at least one book a day. For elementary school kids, we say aim for 25 minutes a day is like our recommended like preset goals that they can choose from, but they can set anything that they want. Kids are really creative and flexible about that. And then it also allows setting a daily reading habit and giving kids the option to read whatever they want, which is what research shows is the best way to create reading motivation or lifelong.
Teen Summer Reading Challenge was a bingo card, and it's a mix of books and activities that they could do, either while reading or in the community. And that categories were selected, by me, but also some of them were actually recycled from TAC recommendations from last spring. So, or actually, they were created from TAC Plus. So, yeah.
The activities for adults didn't change anything about the structure in the last several years. There are some activities that are optional, like puzzles and mazes and some fun things on a bigger sheet. But the majority of the activities are logging your read. And I like the design of this. This predates my coming to Oregon City, but I love the fact that you can basically, based on your own abilities, you can read a tiny book, you can read a giant book, you can read a comic book, and each one counts as one entry. So people with different abilities, adults of any abilities, can participate. So we have some adults who are regular participants in the band programs who aged out of the children in the teen events, and they're full participants in our adult center reading. I think that's kind of important to how we design the activities.
Yeah.
Pretty much anybody can participate, except their own challenge level.
We also give out incentives at various points for the program. So for kids, they get a free book at sign up at 42 days, which is about halfway through the summer. There's 13 weeks in the summer, and that's 6 weeks. They get a nice drive-in token. Kids with food allergies, we had like people like pens and fruit like cartoon fruit characters as the toppers. And then we also had an option to do a ticket to a Trailblazers game that we offered it to everybody. Not everybody took it. The ice cream was super popular, but the Trailblazers, the ice cream is free. It's right across the street. And if you're not in a position to be able to pay for an ice cream cup yourself, your kid still gets free ice cream, whereas the Blazers tickets, the adults have to pay for their own tickets, and then the kids get in free. I mean, the adult tickets are discounted, but it still involves, a trip to Portland. And not everybody's into basketball, sports ball in general. So the Blazers, it was a really nice option. Like, there were a lot of people who were really excited, but the nice drive-in is a really exciting incentive. And then we did prize drawing tickets. So for every 7 days that a kid meets the reading goal, they get a ticket for a big prize drawing. Plus, we have 13 weekly activities that kids can do at home. So they're reading activities, they're learning activities. They're just like, hey, it's a day and you're bored at home, go do this thing, and you can, do this activity and unlock that for a prize. And then we had prize baskets. We had a mix of gift cards. So White Rabbit eats and games and Menchie's frozen yogurt as gift cards. And then we had a couple different book baskets for different age groups that had books and activities. Like we had picture books for younger kids, like Bubbles and Chalk, and then we had like a nature journal kit for some fun. So, yeah, that is a thing.
So for teens, they got a free book when they signed up for summer reading. If they got a 5 in a row on their bingo card, they got a Mike's drive-in token or pin. The Friends donated $5 gift certificates for blackouts. And then our end of summer reading drawing included the gift certificates that Barrett mentioned, plus Dutch Brothers, I think was the additional one. And then we also had a basket for teens that had, I think I ended up getting 4 books. Wow, it seems like so long ago that I got them, but I don't remember. It was really cool. Lots of really cool stuff in there. We also had, Bear created a young teen basket, so that aligns more with the programming that we do during the school year, which we have a young teen program, like in-person programs, as opposed to just older teens. So it gave people the option to put in their tickets for that as well, for that age group.
And for the adults, we stuck with having a tote bag, but we went with a cheaper one. It's also made of recycled cotton, so it kind of fit in with the theme for this year's summer reading. And a water bottle. We upped the number because they were cheaper, because we didn't run out pretty early last year of the tote bags. We say as supplies last on all of our materials because we know it run out. And actually, after some of these started, we looked into maybe buying more, because it was going so fast, and we were not able to get them in time. So we're going to do it this year, but we're definitely considering whatever we do as a giveaway next year. We probably want to have more. So it was open decent. We'd like to not run out quite so quickly. But we went up to 350 still. Great. And then the prize drawing tickets. Those all went into either the grand prize at the end or a weekly drawing where we drew 2 winners every week. And every week winners would get the Dutch Brothers gift card, as well as free book. We'll pick out our treasure chest, we're very excited about. And then at the end, we had 3 prize baskets. We upped the quality this year by spending a little money. And Jen, the other adult services like Lane, really crafted 2 different themed baskets that definitely spoke to people. People were very invested in this particular basket for one. So that was a big draw. Having just kind of the right ingredients. So they were all very much connected to this recycling, reuse, recycle theme of our center. So
It's Sabrina, I did Teams Gent, close the shades.
That's okay.
Moving, out of the sunshine.
My glasses. So looking at registration by challenge, we had for kids program, we had 752 kids registered, teen had 159, and adult 479. Quite a nice increase, but we'll talk about how much increase in a minute. And then next slide, looking at our age breakdown, we had about 262 kids who weren't in school yet, 485 elementary schools. And then those age breakdowns for the teen and adult challenge matchups. It's pretty much the same for that. Slide. Talking about the numbers for the kids challenge, those are the sample goals that we have at the top for the set your own goal. We have 752 registered for the challenge, 223, so just under a third read on 42 days. So that like kind of milestone for the program. We had just 26 kids read on all 91 days, which is understandable. There's been a lot of other fun things during the summer. The number of average days read by each reader, so if we divide the total number of days by the number of registered readers, it's 28, which is up from 26 last year, which is nice that we got an increase for the kids who are participating or reading more. So we have 21,233 total days of reading by our readers, which is great. Unfortunately, our registration was down a little bit this year. I do think it genuinely was tied to the fact that we didn't do as good of a job promoting it with the schools was one of the big factors there. So, but the readers we did have, that's it. Next slide. Quick breakdown of our prize drawing, seeing which is popular. As I'm sure you can imagine, frozen yogurt covered in candy is the number one thing children in our community want as a snack, although gaming supplies is a close second, followed by free books, nature journaling, with our young teen basket, which is only like really appealing to our 10 year old. Last place, just to get demographics as much as anything else. Next slide. So we do for this. I don't include all of the stuff we do at all of the attendance at our story times and sort of art class, like all the programming that we do year round. For the report, I just like to highlight the special stuff we do for the summer.
like most of the libraries in the area, you know, before the pandemic, everybody used to be booking a special performer, you know, every single week and doing all of this stuff. And we really scaled back during the pandemic. I know one librarian who was just like, there was one summer where they were like, we just had to do bubbles and chalk in the park. And we had more people coming to bubbles and chalk in the park than we did to our paid performers. So a lot of libraries had to really scale back and found that that's, you know, that's still like, you know, we've kind of been like trying a little too hard and kind of oversaturating some of the needs. So we scaled back a bit, but still been really successful in engaging people. We had 2 really successful family concerts in June and late July with 150 people for the Azteca and 200 people for Portland Titan, which is fantastic. As you can see, their touch a truck in the middle continues to be right up there with May the 4th as our most popular library event of the year. The fact that it was only 500 was because it was on a 100-degree day. So we were there in the morning before it got too hot, but there were a lot of people who chose to stay home. So that one it was like the one week this summer we had 100-degree weather and it just happened to be our touch a truck week. So that was a little unfortunate, but still 500 people came out to do that, and it just continues to grow every year. And we're so grateful to all of our community partners who helped with that. It's a lot of fun. And then we had Typeful Tango with the Oregon Coast Aquarium. It was a fantastic program, but the only day they were available was in the afternoon of National Night Out, which was kind of tricky. And then we also we needed to put it at kind of an odd time because we were trying to use the Pioneer Center to get an indoor space in case of weather issues, just to their ballroom can accommodate 300 people. So if we wanted to do a big event, and unfortunately, it just was not great timing, I think, for a community. And so we had more of a size that would have been a good fit for the community room. But it was a really wonderful program. Most of the libraries in Texas County had them at this. So the kids who were there had a good time. I have some very good photos of small children dressed as starfish and sea urchins dancing around. Next slide.
All right, so for the Teen Summer Reading Challenge, as I mentioned, they were doing a bingo card, so, and they could do print books, ebooks, audiobooks, graphic novels count, even following there was a graphic novel square, but I guess I would allow them to do graphic novel nonfiction if they wanted to. I'm monitoring that closely. But we had 159 registered for the challenge. We had 57 of those do 5 in a row, and then we had 27 do a full blackout. Which I think, I want to say that number of 5 in a row might be 24. It was 24 last year.
Or no, what was last year?
5. I can't remember.
No,
It's very.
I was looking at it.
Yeah, the average amount of books read by each reader was 8, and we had a total of 1,362 books read total by our students. Some of our most popular bingo categories were big novels. We also had them do picking up trash because it was the recycle theme. Reading outside, listening to a podcast, and listening to music from a different decade. So a little bit of mix of everything. Yeah, we always, yeah. Sometimes I do that, or sometimes I think there's been years in the past where I've done music that has no lyrics, such as instrumental music. So broadening not only their reading horizons, but their music choices. So,
I'd love to see their playlists for a different decade.
yeah,
Choices.
probably like
Way back in the aughts.
2000. Century in the 90s. That's right. I knew that report, right? Yeah. So we had 1,306 tickets entered to 5 prize categories. So the highest was our teen book box. Yeah, there was several books. I had a notebook in there or a drawing book. I also had, I remember there were some really cool bandanas that had, one was a green one that had identifying things in nature, and the other one, there's other like, not Morse code, but some sort of like coping thing. It was very, anyway, so obviously they really like that. Second place was Dutch Brothers, so keeping those kids caffeinated and sugared up, followed by Munchies and really close with Geeks and Games and Minecraft. So this year, we actually, I think, offered more programs than we did the year before because I came up with my tech 3 programs and Barrett came up with 3 programs thinking with teens in mind, and we decided to combine them all and offer the whole age range. We had 14 participants. I think my registration went to 15. So I had almost 100% participation in the teen book boxes, which has always been very popular, especially because teens are often, some of them are working summer jobs or, playing sports, doing who knows. We had a tie for friendship bracelets and carnivorous plants this year, which is very fun. We did tie. It's always pretty popular. We had some people with that. And then we did a recycled coaster. So I taught them how to roll newspapers up and then coil them around to make, I have one around this actually. It's very sturdy, with just glue. So only 3 people came to that. And then we had another one of sustainable hairstyles with a local salon. And I believe that was, there was no attendance, but they were happy to come back. So it's been rescheduled and hasn't happened. Okay, maybe not.
One of the challenges we had is that they didn't get us the signed contract back to us until right before the program, so we didn't have any time to promote it. So we can't promote programs until we've got a signed contract guaranteeing they're going to be there. And so they offered to reschedule, and we haven't. So we love to have them back. They did nobody showed up. They kind of just did a little overview of the presentation, and it was amazing. There were a couple of other staff members there, and all of us were this was great. This was amazing information. It's been so good. So we were hoping to do it as a teen adult combination for different ages this fall, but we just haven't been able to find to get that scheduled. Hopefully.
Adults. We had pretty good numbers for everything this year. 49 people signed up. It's a huge increase from last year. It's over 60% increase over last year. That's entirely because of online options. So adding in being staff there's a big commitment and time and effort, and there were many aspects of it that we're going to tweak for next year, make it even better. But the first year really proved the theory that parents of young children, when they're downstairs talking about signing up for summer reading, which is for their kids, while they're in Beanstack, they made it really easy, and they can just look it up and sign up for adult summer reading. I believe we captured a lot of parents who did not sign up the previous year. So I think giving those parents of young children was a big part of it. But the paper continues to be a very popular option for some of our older patrons who just really don't want to have to fuss with a computer. They like things old school paper, and they're still out there. And then the numbers for everything else are an increase, not a huge increase, but the raffles, 56, over 1,000 for one of the baskets. The garden pink one was by far the most popular. And then all those numbers for the raffle, the 3 different baskets, represent the vast majority of those entries were for reading something, a book or a comic book or a graphic novel. So that's, if you want to count how many things were read, that's thousands and thousands of things were read. They have different lengths, but some people read almost entirely novels. Maybe read on 20 or 30%. So we have adults in this community who read a lot. And wrote little reviews on things. And so there's examples of the optional activities that people could do to get entries. So in addition to reading, we had bingo, we had cryptogram, word search, and maze. And then the bingo did offer blackout option. And this is something, the one thing we're going to be doing for next year is some of them are paper activities matched with how people play online, did it, some of the wording didn't really have the right language for if you're doing it online, it confused people. We actually didn't get complaints. And overall, we had very few problems, but the staff, we noticed that after we started the next year, we'll reprint them with making this coherent between the two. But we will continue to offer both online and paper. And then I've got one more slide. So this is the comparative numbers. Yeah, this one. So it's the same numbers from the breakdown. So the first number is the paper, and the second number is the bean set. And as you can see, in every case, the majority of cases, the bean stack people, because we had not quite double, like a significantly larger number of people participated by bean stack this year. So a lot of our paper participants did convert to using bean stack, and we're just left with people who really only want paper. But a significant chunk actually converted to using bean stack. Then we got a lot of those new people who are almost entirely bean stack participants. And so that's the breakdown of that. The other things, the weekly raffle, there's one tweak in the software that I try and work out with bean stack is due to just the way we set it up, we limited the online participation to 20 raffle tickets for the weekly raffle, and pen paper to just keep reading. So if they want to read those 30 items, they could. We didn't tell the online people that they couldn't come in and turn in paper ones after they ran out of 20, but we also didn't complicate things by confusing people with that option. So I think a lot of people just stopped at 20 and they might have potentially gone farther. So that's something we're trying to figure out for next year. And pretty much equal numbers for the baskets, which really emphasized the need for combining them for drawings. We consider that in two different drawings, but the numbers really wouldn't have added up if we thought of been comparable statistical chance of winning. And so people doing it online would have had a smaller chance of winning if we hadn't combined them with the paper entries. So to make it fair, we put in the extra. But the software does not make it easy to put paper people in. The next slide is just some of our considerations for next year. Because we have so many more entries overall for prize baskets, to make it not basically lower the chances of people winning, we're talking about just reallocating resources or spending more money and having more big prizes, just so people really can see that they have a chance of winning, even if the tickets, infinitesimal chance of winning. And the money that we spent more than 3 baskets, increased by just 3 baskets this year. But with $1,000, we could probably do 4 baskets. Same quality as the previous year, or just spend more money and have 4 baskets this year as well. People really did comment. Even people did everybody commented that the basket was very good this year. So I do think the increased spending had an effect on the interest of people having prizes.
The summer reading party. So let's see, we did, so for at a summer reading party, we had about 200 people attend. It was a combination kids, teen and adult program. We also partnered with the Friends of the Library to provide ice cream. So the Friends paid for the ice cream and then they had volunteers in the park to serve the ice cream. We also brought in a magician to do a magic show. We had surprise drawings for people who were there in person. We did chalk art in the park and had the bubble machine going. And then we had, I was there to help with getting things logged in Beanstack. There were challenges. First of all, it was very hot. And so we had to move the event inside. So that was not as successful as doing it in the park. Plus there were just fewer people in the park. The second bet, this hasn't been the case in recent years, just based on sort of how the calendar changes. But this year, the last day of summer reading was smack dab in the middle of Labor Day weekend. So attendance was not great because everybody was busy doing Labor Day things. And it will also fall over Labor Day weekend in next year. So we want to be thinking next year about possibly finding an alternate location, so that, whether it goes like we will in late August, that we have, an alternate location. Looking at moving it maybe earlier, so not the last day of summer reading, but maybe the last weekend of summer reading, and then just kind of looking at our residents. The people who attended the magic show loved it. It was a great magic show. There were lots of happy people eating ice cream in the park, like, all the individual components were good, but it didn't come together quite the party vibes for activities.
We were prepared for too many people. We were worried, actually. So 200 people is the lower end, but it also was a bit of a relief because if like 600 people showing up, or the way we have it set up, changed.
And I hope exactly one person would be the staff the entire.
Yeah. They made a difference.
Oh, they did, like, they made it into the drawing in time. Right.
And one aspect, besides just that part is, although other than parents, we didn't have a whole lot of adults coming to watch the magic show. But I will say the participation of the friends of the library to me was a big chunk of the adult participation. They were really excited to have the opportunity to participate in kind of a tentpole event, be directly involved in summer reading and have that direct interaction with parents and their kids. And they gave away ice cream. So that looked really good for the friends of the library, got them a lot of exposure to the open. So
Yeah, it was mutually beneficial activity for sure. Next slide. Changes to note. We did have a 17% decrease in our elementary student participation. And again, I really do think that a lot of that is tied to some of the just the challenges we had around doing our outreach and promotion at the start of summer. We did have a 7% increase in the engagement from the kids who did participate. So what we didn't have as many kids last year, the kids we had to engaged. So I think that's, like a sort of an outcomes-based evaluation model, like increased engagement is a good thing.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same for teen participation. There was a 30% increase in books read by teens, but there was an 8% decrease in participation overall. So, yay for more reading, and hopefully we can figure out how to, drum up some teens for next year.
and then adults, we get to be really excited. We probably won't see a 63% year-over-year increase again, but adding in the beanstack option and keeping the paper, which was a big commitment to basically double the work in some ways, paid off. So it was an educated gamble, and it paid off significantly. 62% is a huge increase. And what was already in the library world, very successful adult summer reading, because a lot of libraries don't even do summer reading. But I think we're going to see a lot to be proud of having a summer reading for all ages. And we have a very successful adult summer reading program. Adding Beanstack allows the entire family of all ages. We have one family for sure that was doing children's, teens, and adults. They've got a bunch of kids. They're very cute. And it's just really fun to see them coming into the different desks to get their prizes and everything. All the ages represented.
Just sharing some community feedback. I do a survey every year. I was not as aggressive as pushing it out this year, partly because we've had some changes to my team and how we can send those surveys out. And so I'm no longer able to do like batch mailings the way I used to be. It has to be, instead of sending an email, it has to all be filtered through MailChimp, which when we're not using it together, that's a little tricky. So we need to work on that for next year, finding better ways to push out that survey. So I will often get enough responses that I have heartfelt feedback, and I didn't have quite as much this year, but somebody shared their favorite part was sharing new books with their, which is, their generational message. And then this has been coming up in the last several years. People keep saying, well, I want a paper version of the summer reading blog. When we went to Beanstack, we've never offered Beanstack without a paper reading blog component. what we were doing, at home during the pandemic, it was, print at home, or you can pick up a paper copy with your notebook, with your whole pick up at the library. And then since we've been back fully in person, had paper reading logs available at the desk, staff are trained whenever anybody signs up for summer reading to say, do you want your reading log? We have it on all, it's on the challenge on Bees Deck, it's on our website, and all of our things. It's like, if you want to, you could, since we opened the new edition, we've always required some form of line registration for summer reading that families have had to fill out just for data management purposes. So we tell people there's only two points. You only have to touch Bees Deck twice. Once to put your reading in, if you want the chance to be private. Everything else can be done on paper. And, our staff will help you get everything, help people register, we'll help them get everything logged. They just have to bring it in and we'll get everything, work with them to get everything transferred. But there's just an astonishing number of people who are just, it's like, we're like, there's a paper option, there's a paper option, there's a paper option. And people are like, well, why do you have a paper option? And I'm like, where else, what billboard have I been? So it's clear that, people will say, we want this thing. We're already giving them the thing, they just don't know it's there. So I think a communication thing tonight for next year.
Users.
Right. Who needs these?
Yeah, I don't have any way of collecting data from our teams necessarily, but I did have the opportunity to meet with all of our team book box subscribers at some point during the summer. And I did have one, and actually I've had two now tell me that they really love the book boxes, but what really struck me is that I was selecting books for them that they would not have necessarily chosen for themselves, and that they really enjoyed them. So, my work is, just expanding their horizons.
For the adults, we get a lot of feedback at the beginning because everybody comes in and get their book back, their trip back. And the most common one, and that's a direct quote, is one person. I can't believe you have some really great ones. This is so great. We heard versions of that from many people, just because, especially some of the parents who have not signed up in years past. They didn't realize we had an adult reading program, even though they're regular Oregon City Library users, they just never come upstairs. So they'd never seen that there was that option. There was paper only previous years. And I think also the paper only people, we get lots of interactions with because they come to the desk to put in their tickets. One thing that is missing from adding Bean Stack, and we just have the capacity to add even more work, but we don't get a lot of feedback from Bean Stack participants because they're getting their tickets online. Whereas we're actually hearing from people doing the paper ones. All the feedback, the paper participants is positive. They love the person adults in the reading program so much so that we are seriously considering, we're in the final stages of trying to think of an offering during the coldest months of winter, probably an online one, but some kind of reading challenge that adults can participate in. Not nearly as ambitious as summer reading, but we have several games like these. So we're hoping to do something. That's because of all the feedback. Important to be able to have an enthusiastic adult readers.
Then finally, takeaways. So for youth services, our two big priorities for next year are to really make kickoff partnerships with schools a priority. We had a really great idea. Like we kind of had it tentatively penciled in on the calendar that we were going to have library staff and the school district be going to our pickup lines and handing out summer reading logs to parents in the pickup lines, and then doing prize drawings every day for the first 7 days of summer for the district to sponsor. And we just did not. That all fell through. That would have been such a great way to reach so many people, and it just didn't happen. So I think we want to be really proactive next year about, now that we're hopefully not going to have those challenges again, like how can we implement something like that where we're really making more connections with schools, making more connections with parents, and getting the word out to our families. And then we also have to find some way to market that paper reading longer because it's there and it's available to everybody. And, people, I know I offer it to everybody. I'm pretty sure my staff is offering it to everybody, so I don't know. I don't know how people are not hearing about that paper reading log. So we need to There's also, I think, potentially, there's some people who just see like the online option and then they don't even read any further to see that there is a paper reading log and are just putting themselves out because they're like, oh, I don't want to with, again. Even though, there's a workaround and it's an either or, it's a slightly different hybrid option than it always has, but it is like a hybrid option. So we need to find some way to change how we're communicating about it because it's clear that something is not connecting there. We need to be there.
And also for Barrett's summer reading and mine, we not only do we offer her options, our paper options in two languages.
We have 4 languages this year. Kids had Spanish, Russian, and English.
Yes. So there is, figuring out how to set that community know that we do have that option as well.
And things that can be translated into any language that's a good chance.
So for teens, just trying to find new ways to get them in the know about reading, doing better advertisement just in the teen area and library in general, for teens specifically, and also sending more information to schools through PCR and things of that nature, just to trying to extend that reach.
And for adults, I can start by saying, since we had no complaints of any kind from anybody about this reading program, we don't need to respond to fixing anything that's broken. But from a staff perspective, there's some efficiencies that we can work on. And certainly, it's pretty easy to see areas where we can improve the participant experience. But we don't have any complaints, so we're at least starting in a pretty good spot for that. I am just concerned, just having been the one who did a lot of the drawings, turning that big drawing bucket thing, with 1,000 pieces of paper rolling around there and reaching in and only one winner for like the most popular basket, there were 1,000 entries. But there's just so many hopes and dreams right now. So I do think coming up to 4 baskets, maybe even 5, just something to like increase or having 2 winners in each category, just something to improve the odds. I feel like that's appropriate. But there's no real pressure to do that. Just anything we can do to improve the grade.
Okay. I think that's everything on the recommendation, yes. Okay.
Any questions from the board?
I've got 3. I was thinking about, could you use non-staff volunteers for the school outreach? Or does it need to be
That's a really good question.
just added to the list of?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think particularly at the library board and the friends of the library might want to help us out because there's no that as a way to promote, to give you a little overview.
Okay.
That would be a great decision.
Yeah, just so people, volunteers are not free to use, right? So with the liability concerns and monitoring them, there is a degree of management that goes into volunteers. So yes, if we know some of the volunteers, if they're working with your friends, members, that's
Sort of been screened.
yeah, yes, that you can have them, yes. Or school volunteers, yeah, and so that can certainly be. Yes.
Okay, another one. Do the elementary schools do anything in competition with you? I don't think they do.
No, the schools this summer. Yes, the school district runs the free summer meal sites throughout the district. We had looked at being a free summer meal site and using the library park as a free summer meal site, but because there's so much commercial real estate around the library, we don't meet the income minimum or the income bracket to be a summer meal site. So they won't let, it's just like, because we're, there's the lot neighborhood given the property values of the residential neighborhood, they're added into all the commercial real estate. When you look at the income or the income bracket, there's certain formulas that have to be met. And we worked with the school district before the pandemic, and it was just, they even reached out to the state and appealed, and it was no, this is the threshold that you have to be in. Plus they offer one right up in Gardner, which they offer some of the programming there. So they do free summer meal sites, and we provide some books and some other things to them to hand out because the meal site, although meal site participation is fairly low. Comparatively. And then this year they used their early literacy grant coordinator did some pop-up books in the park events. They handed out free books in the park. We were supposed to coordinate on that and tagging that, but that's another thing that along with the outreach visits just have the planning timelines didn't work out.
Is there a summer school, a sun school program?
There is the summer explorations day program, and they came and they did a field trip to the library.
And it was more than parks for the summer reading program. They went out to a number of the like apartment complexes. They went up to the laundromat. So there was quite a bit outreach. It would be a really good.
Yeah. We tried to work with, we had something a couple years ago where somebody doing the summer exploration for school program and kind of wanting to get all the kids signed up for summer reading, and we kind of explained how it was going to work, and they said, "Great, we'd love to do it." And then I think partly just the timeline. It was like mid to late May, and they're like, "All right, we're going to be building an entire summer school program like starting now." And it was just they had so many things on there like that,
And the parks is right. They have programming across the street.
Yeah, the parks department does that programming as well. I think one of the other things to keep in mind too is that we are wildly busy here during the summer. You look at our checkout numbers, you look at our foot traffic indicators, it is often double what it is during the school year. And we still have, we have on-calls that we can pull in, but we still have the same amount of staff. And so there's lots of great outreach opportunities in the summer, but we're having to take on all of our increased programming here. And then we're also still having to do, work with us, shelving, all of our usual tests. So, there's lots and lots of outreach opportunities. And if we had, more staffing, we could really do what some libraries do, which is have, embedded, have an outreach person who's just doing there's somebody whose entire summer job is just doing summer reading outreach in the community, but we just don't have the staffing for that. So we have to be really strategic about which outreach partnerships we do. Just given.
The last one, Greg, is that software a one-time or yearly $2,000?
Annual.
But
There is no software.
no, we use it. So yeah.
It's well worth it.
Everything's subscription.
Yep, and expensive.
What amazes me is that you had to enter this stuff in paper, that's not scannable. And that there's not a scannable option. I mean, that seems crazy.
I mean, the way it's designed is it's like the software is like an interactive app. And so, you're checking boxes and opting in and, doing a variety of things. So there's no, it just doesn't, because the software is so user-friendly and interactive, it doesn't really translate well. So, you can't just transfer paper. It's generally fairly, there are some libraries that do manually transfer. Anybody who turns in a piece of paper, they will manually transfer to the software.
That is the other option. I mean, I knew what my options were because I've used this software for another library system. And so it was a difficult decision that was already made, but I ended up making it just to go the right path. But it was once I knew what I was doing and what I was in for, after the time to and copied it all to another spreadsheet, formatted it, printed it out, cut it with scissors, stuffed it in a thing with the other pieces of paper. Every time it took about an hour a week. But that's the significant stuff.
Any other questions? This is an exciting program, and I think we need to continue to invest in it. And maybe a staff person will talk about that when we get to budget. Summer outreach, because it seems like a worthy thing to consider.
We could use an outreach person year round.
Yeah.
Also, I know that we are very short time. Would anybody, I did look up the data on the different decades answer. If anybody would like to hear the bands that got more than one vote for top 7. We've got Michael Jackson in first place, AC/DC, Elvis, Johnny Cash, Led Zeppelin, Nirvana, Rolling Stone. Ooh.
I've been behind all of them.
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got to there's some stuff that 2014 is considered a different decade.
I would have been disappointed if Nirvana wasn't on there because of all the kids who never listen to Nirvana and wear Nirvana t-shirts. Was it Target or something started selling every kid a Nirvana t-shirt. I'm like, what are you using the Nirvana?
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes.
Great presentation.
Yep, thank you, Barrett, thank you, Blake, thanks, Sabrina, thank you for all your work, summer reading.
Indeed.
Was Lisa gonna do an update? Do you have any information about
Lisa is not able to join us.
do you want
tonight.
to chat or I can leave?
Yeah, you can stick around.
Yeah.
You can just stick.
I think good thing about what she said.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right, great, thank you. Got a couple of meetings of minutes that we need to approve. The first one is the 28th of August. Any corrections or additions or mistakes? No? Have a motion, please?
I move that we accept the meeting minutes of August 28th, 2024 as presented.
Okay, second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Okay, and similarly for the September 25th meeting, I want to thank Cynthia for covering this out of town. Any corrections? On your mouth, but I didn't see, we didn't hear anything.
No, there was no corrections. I was waiting for you to finish so I could propose that we accept them.
There you go, thank you. Yeah. Motion to second, please. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, library directors.
Thank you, David. I don't have a lot this month, so I'll just say I've got the statistics in the packet. If there are any questions on those, I'm happy to answer them. We had hoped, and I think I'll wait until Denise is back when we meet again. My goal for this time was Denise went last week to the Association of Bookmobile Outreach Services Conference in Indianapolis last week and got a huge amount of great information on outreach vehicles and options and talked to vendors. And she gave me all the information, and rather than me trying to convey it to you, I think I'm going to wait with your if that works for the board. Wait until she's back so she can share that
Yes.
information.
And that'll be in December.
Yes, it'll be December.
Right.
The one thing I will share is the best thing we found out. We got a much better idea of lead times and inventory that's available at certain vendors. So it may not be as much of a lead time as we thought. So we're going to have a conversation with the foundation. And I've been having conversations with the finance department on kind of the budgetary impact to see if maybe I'm trying not to get over my skis too much, but wondering if there is an option to get the whole thing purchased this fiscal year.
That'd be great.
Yeah, rather than the 12 to 18 months that we had been anticipating. So
Good.
Need more information on that in a couple of minutes. But other than that, that's my report. Unless there are any questions on stats along the way.
Any questions?
Anything from the county on book offers? Or is it
Yes.
proceeding in the background?
No, it's proceeding. I'll address it now. They're working. The procurement department is working on finalizing the solicitation for it. So I have a background in this. I helped I gave some feedback to our county office about what we would like to see in a solicitation for both replacement self-checks and the book lockers. I believe we had a library directors meeting last week, and I believe Rick, a counterpart up at the county, said that they were aiming to get the solicitation out either in winter or spring. And the timeline that we're all working on is that the solicitation will be done and the contract will be awarded with the ability to order on it starting next fiscal July 1st of 2025. So we'll have to move some money we had budgeted from this biennium to next biennium, but I talked to finance and they don't foresee a problem with that. So we will know before July 1st, what our prices are and all that good stuff. But legally, we won't be able to order it until the contract is in effect. That's aiming for first of next fiscal year.
Nice. Greg, any update in terms of director's report with your communication with the county in terms of this new process that may or may not happen with
Yes, and I can't remember if I shared this last time, so if I haven't, I think this is okay for me to share. The county administrator, so a couple of months ago, the Board of County Commissioners directed staff to take a look at how they form a new task force, basically, and how we move forward, trying to revive the work that was done a few years ago. They're getting a small group together to provide the county administrator with some direct feedback on how we think that should go forward. And some of us who will be involved in that group have some experience, in the past efforts to be part of that group, giving Administrator Schmitz direct feedback that is scheduled to happen sometime in November. So hopefully after that, I can come back and let you all know where that is. But I was very heartened that the county is taking it seriously. They're trying to figure out the best way forward. I was also glad that I got asked to participate. So it makes me happy.
Yeah, it's really,
You mentioned
it's great for us. Great going to be involved in that because that gives us a strong voice on that work.
Thank you, Nick.
mentioned this, replacing the self-checkouts. I hadn't heard that before, so just at whatever appropriate time that is.
Yes.
Like what the,
So the self-checkouts were purchased originally in 2018, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2018. And they originally had a 5-year useful life period because of the pandemic. We didn't have people using them. We all decided we could probably have more years out of them, but they are getting towards the end of their life span. They've had to do a software update, 1 or 2 big software updates. Bless you. And so the part of the plan was always to refresh that hardware county-wide on the same schedule. So since we were going after book lockers, we figured we are hopeful that there might be some companies out there who, realizing that there's a county-wide solicitation for both book lockers and self-checks, that maybe might offer a combined deal, and that might lower the prices for everything. So that's why we wanted to try to do those solicitations in tandem.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be figuring out how much those are. There was an agreement with the county back when I was up there that the county puts aside money every year to help libraries afford to replace those self. I do not think it's going to be a significant financial expenditure on our part to get those.
Great.
thanks.
Any public comment?
No,
I just had a question. Are we not meeting in November?
we can, you want to talk about their communications, or we can talk about it now?
We can talk about, no, we had chatted about not meeting the day before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Is when it would happen, and so we thought that we've had enough legal meetings to.
Okay, I just wanted clarification, that's all.
That's what it's about.
We will hit our 9 required meetings per year, and we will have to do the interviews for vacancies sometime in December. I'll get that all figured out.
Are we addressing the display?
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're going back.
Yeah,
The top of the top.
It's already 6, so I apologize that we're going to go a little bit later today, but since we're not going to have a meeting in November, I'll beg your indulgence for a bit more longer. Tactical plan?
Okay. I won't go into great detail. Hopefully everybody had a chance to look at this. I'm happy at the amount of green that's on there. Made me happy. So of the 16 initiatives that we have there, we got 5 of them I'm calling complete, which is great. We've got 8 of the remaining in some phase of being worked on. There's one in particular that will be a little farther along when I present this to you next time around. It's the Spanish translation of Spanish. I've got quotes and identified some companies to translate some of our policies into Spanish. There's a cost associated, but I think it's doing. And on a couple of the ones that are not started yet, I'm not concerned. There's one I'm going to talk with my team leads about when we are meeting. to start work on that. But I was pretty happy with the status of everything. On the other 2 pages, I just gave some updates, for the things that have advanced. I just gave you some background on why they advanced. And again, most of it is just good progress on those projects. And if there are any questions about any of that, I would be happy to answer.
Anybody?
The inventory on community groups hasn't started yet. Is that just more of a staffing thing or, yeah, I don't know if there was any plans.
That is the main one that I'm going to be talking with my team lead.
Yeah.
About, and I'm sure we will ask for some help. I know we know we have lots of contacts. So yeah, that's just mostly staffing. And that's one of those things we'll do it the first time around. But that's always going to be a living. It's not like we're doing it once and it's going to stay for the rest of our life. So yeah.
Different connections. And
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, any other comment, concerns? So the display policy.
Yes, okay, display policy. So we had a smaller group last time around. I sent this out again. I must admit I've been watching Cynthia, so I know she found some spelling mistakes and some things. So I'm trying to hide there. So, but yeah, this is our display policy. We talked about it last time. It's a draft. It's a good thing for us regardless, just to make sure that if people have questions or concerns about any of the displays that we have up during the year, that we have something we can do about why we do what we do and how we determine what displays are. And it's also particularly useful when we do our winter seasonal displays, because we do get some questions about what displays we have. So for the people who weren't here before, this is based on a template that we found that a lot of the libraries seem to use successfully. Enough kind of the 3 sizes, small, medium, and large. This is the small version, kind of the concise brief version, not the long 30-page county one, which talks about every single citation. So with that, if there's any feedback or suggestions, I'd love to hear it.
I just think it's good. I think it's clear. So I wrote good.
Oh,
So
I appreciate your editing and your proofreading skills. It's good to have such a pair of people.
But one question. Go ahead, Dick.
I was going to ask you, Greg, I was also thinking about social media, and if we have ever had any issues with things that the library is presenting via social media, and should we include that or have a policy on social media also?
We do have a library social media policy, and the city, it's either a library or a city social media policy. I can't remember which one it is. There is a policy that we use for social media. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it probably hasn't been in several years. I'm happy to bring that back to you. And in the meantime, I will connect communications and get their input on it, because they handle,
I think that's a really good idea.
the live responding to social media. And quite honestly, if there was a comment, they also have their parameters for leaving a comment or,
Or respond.
decide, or respond.
the social media still answer is that is you had someone that used to do it
Yes,
here.
it is still, so we have a staff person who's working out the class to help continue that longer term. And this is a conversation process, longer term. I am much more used to a model similar to Atkins County, where you've got more centralized social media, more for the mechanics of it. The example I always use is the Trail News publication that comes out. We spend a lot of time formatting content to send off to somebody, to send to a printer, to get it printed. I don't necessarily want my staff spending that time editing and doing through and color coding. We can generate content very easily. I would love to just ship it off to somebody, say like, here's some social media posts that we want to do. You take care of scheduling it, you take care of, all that stuff. So that's kind of the direction I'd like to go. We're not quite there yet.
One question that I had, what if the community group comes to you and said, we want to do a display in the library? I'm not sure how it's addressed here.
I think we would take it like any other, we don't have a specific process that's in this policy that says if you want to suggest a display, here's how you do it. I think we would take it to just suggestion that we would take feedback. I brought it up to our selectors or the people who are doing display if they feel that that's consistent or if they want to do work on that. Can certainly develop some of those more detailed policies do have a full process by which somebody can come in and say, I want to do a display. I didn't go that direction here. One of the other policies we are wanting to do eventually is an art policy, because more of the questions that we get are, oh, I would love to display my art, on your walls but I know other libraries do that. And we don't have a policy to facilitate that. And until recently, we really haven't had a lot of wall space where we could actually put art, but we have a little more now. We're getting some more hanging things. So hopefully next year we'll be able to come up with an art policy. But if the patron initiated display request was something you wanted to see in your concern,
I think it's,
Has that happened?
Yeah, has anybody said, here's a pre-canned display, we want to set up shelves?
The only one we ever get, like the Daughters of the American Revolution, will come in and they said, hey, we have this, would you do that? And honestly, it's something that we've just done for years. And so we said, for those, we said, sure. I don't think we've ever
I
turned anybody
actually
down.
recently had someone from the chess club who wanted to display some stuff, and it's a potential, yes. I think it had something to do with historical chess pieces. It was really cool. It was really in theme with like their program that they have here, but it needed to be in the locked case that we have in Carnegie, and we currently have in there from our sister city. So that's the only time I've ever had it. And then of course we had the miniature version of the McLaughlin house.
Oh, right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was, but again, we kind of handled that along like somebody approached us and said, hey, what would you think about this? And we think, oh, that's good.
Well, as long as the demand, I mean, my concern was that there were people that were trying to get in to do religious displays or political displays or whatever. That doesn't sound like it's been a real issue.
No, not an issue. We have had somebody who said, well, since you have fill in blank holidays, you should have a nativity scene. So.
But I think some of our policies around, like, I don't know if this is still accurate, but we had a policy for people that were displaying their materials in the community room, like they couldn't have any kind of poster and postage stuff outside, whether it was political or not. So, and by outside, I mean outside the room or whatever. So I think it could fall for that too. Like we don't.
But if it's not a problem,
At this point, I would say it's not a problem. If it does become a problem, there are also some examples of policies out there that do
I
specify.
mean, there's all sorts of new stuff that keeps coming up related to books and libraries. This reclassification of a nonfiction book to fiction recently was just mind blowing. So,
Yes.
okay.
And then the only thing I'll say about this, I did the substantive change I made was in the request for reconsideration. I just simplified it, and I think they made that. Said we're just going to follow the process that we have for each policy. There are a couple of things we have to tweak just a little bit because it's a display as opposed to a book. But I went through it, and I'm very comfortable that we can say we use the same process, and it's just.
Could we have a motion to approve draft policy as the policy for display?
I'll move to approve the library display policy as written.
Second, please.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, very good.
Okay, great. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate this. This is also a nice thing for staff. When staff are on the front lines dealing with the members of the public, really great to be able to say, we have a policy that was approved by our library for your community representatives. Thank you.
Okay, communication. Why don't we start with tag? Yeah.
All right. So please not here. I thought maybe now that I know you're not meeting next month, I wanted to give you an update. So I don't know if any of you noticed that there's plants live, breathing and green and beautiful hanging from our wall. It's 90% done. we have 5 planters that need to be installed, which hopefully will come this week or next week. So it's just, yeah, you go past my office, it's right there. They used wood that was reclaimed from the trees that were cut down to make the library extension. So a good reuse, and the planters are 100% recycled materials made. The other updates things that are happening with TAG is we had a meeting 2 weeks ago, and they voted to remove the PCs that are in the teen area because there are laptops that are being used. And in fact, I had Adam with our tech services or technology to pull stats of how often those are being used. And it's, I mean, I think it was like 130 out of a month period. So not well used, but I do have 2 or 3 teams that continually use the Mac or the Chromebooks very regularly. So they TAC was comfortable voting to have those removed, and they will be. Then they encouraged me to make proper signage so that people know that they can get laptops checked out. So that will be something that I will work on. They also, as part of, they identified priorities for the teen room refresh project. So furniture was the first thing, the lounge furniture was the first thing, the plant wall was the second thing, and then the third thing was a laptop bar. So I'm currently waiting for quotes for some 2 probably 66-inch laptop bars that are gonna go. Basically, there's a wall where the computers are that kind of ends, and then there's like a floor to ceiling windows. It's gonna go from the window where that ends over, and then we're going to, I just got a quote this afternoon for a TV, like console monitor thing that has all wires integrated, and there's cabinets, so locking cabinets, so we can keep our gaming systems in there, and we can watch movies, and hopefully we'll be using that for scrolling advertisement for upcoming programs, kind of like we do in the lobby. So hopefully that'll catch their attention. They're currently working on, I have two members that are working on a manga club outline. Yes, I said go and do, and they are with great enthusiasm. And we are very painfully building a blog that's going to have our Stacks newsletter will then get transferred over there. I think I finally figured it out after some mental block, I guess. It all just came to me. So we're working on that. And then we also, we have a new chair, a new vice chair, and the same scribe as last year, who will start their duties starting in November. So I think that's kind of it.
Great,
Yeah.
sounds active. And...
Yeah.
All right, the Friends.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, thanks, Penny. Friends? Oz?
You're muted.
You're muted. You're muted. You're still muted.
Okay.
There you go. No,
Oh. Once more.
you're still muted.
Keeps going back to mute.
There you
The Friends meeting, first of all, they had a bumper year this year with a bookstore. $26,000 came in, which I mean, great for us eventually. And the second thing was that the tentative I discussed last month has been formalized so that we'll have a single appropriation for programs. And while we'll still request monthly, they'll be pre-approved.
go. Well done.
Yeah, and the Friends, they're
Great.
They are great. Yeah, I wish we could buy shares in the Friends. 'Cause, you know, they generate money, you know, with $1 and $2 books at a time.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got a nice little war chest built up, and they have expressed. They haven't formally asked them yet, but I predict that there will be significant support for the outreach people coming from the Friends.
Great.
Very good.
Foundation.
Well, foundation actually is tomorrow, and we haven't met for a couple of months due to various issues. But our annual fundraiser for next year, the date is April 3rd, 2025. So please mark your calendars for that event. It'll be at the Ainsworth House in Oregon City. The details are going to be hammered out over the next couple of months or so. So come ready to participate on April 3rd. Then we did vote to partner with the City Schools Foundation and other organizations to support the Oregon Battle of the Books at the elementary school level. And we donated $250 to that effort. And I'm excited about that because my grandkids participated that in another district, and it's so great for kids of all levels. And so I was excited that we were willing to donate money to that. And then I can't remember whether I said that we went to Malala, the outreach vehicle there, and we're excited to support that effort when the opportunity manifests itself in some kind of detailed fashion.
Yes, we'll talk more tomorrow. We may have different opportunities.
Fabulous.
Okay, that's it.
All right. And LDAC. Anything
Actually,
there?
Greg really gave the LDAC update because we're not really meeting at this point unless, Greg, are you aware that we're going to meet until?
No. So that the director's communication that Rick was going to pass on to Al, the chair of LDAC, was it doesn't make much sense, the LDAC meeting, until they have this other meeting where we kind of figure out, you know, how they can go forward. I presume that Al, the chair of LDAC, will be supportive of that. So I would not anticipate an LDAC meeting until sometime in the new year.
Okay. Anything else?
Just extending appreciation to Greg for being part of the Indigenous People Day with Link in the city of Oregon City. I don't know how many books you give away, but just the comments from individuals that are identify as Native and people that want to learn about Native cultures. That is a very meaningful time for them to receive those books. So thank you.
You're
For spending your Sunday.
It was a beautiful. You know, we can get the weather to be like that every year.
Sure.
And the library was one of the sponsors or co-sponsors or whatever for Pride. And as well, and that I was there, our church was there as a booth, and it was a really great event, and I was really happy to see the library's support in that.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to see which one was that. Was it the city or was it the library?
I can't remember.
Okay. I think it might have been the city. But yeah, we may have helped with some books too. To answer, we gave over 200 book outs.
Like a lot, yeah. That's a lot.
It was a lot. It was nice because for most of the time we didn't. Sometimes we had to limit, so we decided we weren't going to limit people. So some took one, some took a couple. I think if we get up to about 300, that's get to the point where we can solve all day long. So take what you want. I did find out, it was funny, there was one book, it was a collection, an anthology of Indigenous like horror fiction or dark fiction that just came out recently and is very, very, very popular. And so people would come up to the booth, I hear you're giving them copies of this book. Yes, we do have copies. So they were very excited. We had that.
Wow. All right. Anything else for the good of the order? Okay, I will see you. Have a wonderful holiday, Thanksgiving, and we'll get back together in December.
Yes, we'll see everybody in December, and I'll send out information about how we have to do our interviews and all that good stuff.